Social anxiety disorder. Self-expression, the privileged communication of one's views. Some great courage and personal growth arises from the freedom one feels to express their own individuality. A primary, universal human characteristic is our curious need to interact within our environment, physically, socially, and therefore emotionally. Social anxiety disorder is characterized by a debilitating fear of social interactions. Additionally, any critical judgments brought about by the perceptions of others. Therefore, socializing and social events become avoided. Social anxiety disorder is considered to be the most common of the psychiatric disorders. Furthermore, it is associated with regular impairments and the increase of the development of other psychological disturbances. Multiple characteristics of the social anxiety disorder is quite widespread throughout our population. Taking into consideration, let us say, the fears one may feel when speaking in front of a larger group of people, these correlated behaviors, including the overwhelming emotional responses associated, are a representation of our bodily alarm systems, reactions for the potentially life-threatening incident. With a closer look into the functioning body, the specific biological functioning contributions are understandably obvious. The activation of the cardiovascular system increasing blood flow, the constriction of specific blood vessels raising blood pressure, directing blood flow. The excess of the circulating blood is directed toward the skeletal muscle purposely for the ability to self-defend, all of which reflexively creates the need for one to escape the current situation. Therefore, the organisms that are able to quickly and effectively respond to a life-threatening situation will survive the course of the day. With the presence of an approaching predator, this agitating alarm system is very appropriate. In our modern day, however, that approaching predator may just potentially be a motionless group of individuals that you are about to formally speak in front of. These various complicated defensive bodily functional adjustments have been termed our biological survival mechanisms, or preferably our stress response. This bodily response, our stressed biological survival mechanisms, have many important implications for our human fears, or the experience of anxiety. Social anxiety disorder and the triggers are personal and formal introductions, criticism or teasing, the feelings of centered attention, observance or being watched, formal public events, authority figures, social situations and events, eye contact, and public activities or actions. The social anxiety disorder emotional and physical symptoms will include the uncontrolled overwhelming fears, nervousness, racing heart, blushing, excessive sweating, dry mouth, trembling or preferably shaking, muscle tension. The social with the added quality of life consequences should be considered for the individuals suffering from panic or social phobias. Those bearing the consequences of social anxiety disorders may appear to hide within the shadows, shying away from interactions with those in their immediate environment. To the observer, however, appearing to be quiet and disengaged, although the emotional internal turmoil is exhaustingly overwhelming. Therefore, employment and the interpersonal relationships considerably suffer due to this socializing phobia. The experience of social anxiety influences our individual's sense of self-worth, therefore our included behaviors. Then, of course, our sense of well-being, going forth to intrude on our complete sense of self, altering our activities of participation, eventually going forth to interfere with our physical health, as the understanding that our emotions affect our physical health is dating as far back as the 2nd century physician Galen. However, today, with our considered more modern medicine, continues to view, as well as treat, the mind and body as two separate entities. Thankfully, over the past 30 plus years or so, The needed research linking our physical health, emotional status, our behaviors, our social reputation, and interpersonal interactions has begun to move more towards the mainstream as a more holistic version of health emerges.